Okay, hi everyone. Okay, hi. It's really amazing to see everyone here. And we're really excited. I see a lot of familiar faces, and it's really exciting for us. We're finishing a year of activity, and we're here to present to you what we've been doing for the past year. Yair, you want to introduce yourself? We're going to
Yes.
talk about our two projects, which are Golden Hour and Frontline Emergency Medicine. So I'm giving the floor to Yair, the head of our NGO, the foundation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yair. I'm a physician. I'm doing a PhD in cancer research science, and I also volunteer as the chairman of our nonprofit organization, Health Research and Science in Israel. Welcome to our new campaign, and I'm glad to see you here. And before we will start explaining about our project, we want to start with a video of the campaign. In severe traumatic injuries, every second counts. Our frontline medical teams are treating those who protect us, and they need our help.
There is an urgent need for advanced life-saving medical equipment and tactical training in the field.
The right medical training, combined with the right equipment, empowers every medical professional to respond effectively in those time-critical moments after injury.
Our non-profit organization, Health Research and Science in Israel, works around the clock to ensure that all members of the medical personnel in the field have access to the most advanced medical equipment. So far, we have provided over $800,000 of medical equipment and over 100 tactical trauma workshops.
The equipment is purchased according to the physician or paramedic's needs, their training level, and the type of tactical activity they conduct, and we deliver it directly to their hands. We aim to empower every physician and paramedic so no one will be without the tools they need to save lives.
As emergency medicine physicians, we understand the supreme importance that frontline doctors, paramedics, and medics provide the highest quality of care in the first seconds of exsanguinating bleed, airway emergencies, and mass casualty events. Our workshops exist so no frontline provider is unprepared in the face of life-threatening emergency situations.
Help us to protect those who protect us.
As long as our people are in the field saving lives, we are here for them, and we will continue to provide them with life-saving equipment.
Together,
We can bring hope
To those who fight for all of us,
and together,
we are
strong. Okay, so no, there is a delay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a delay.
Okay, that's all right. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, we started by receiving a new requests from many friends when the war began, and one friend of mine, his name is Shimon. Perhaps you'll see him on the presentation if it will work. Shimon is a fresh father, and I just asked him if he needs something, he needs any help when the war began. And he said, perhaps if we could help with POCUS, which is ultrasound machine. And this is Shimon. Okay. So basically, this is how we started. Shimon was in the reserve, and he needed medical equipment, and we tried to give him as much as we can advanced medical equipment. We had no background in recruiting medical equipment or any equipment, but we started because this is what we must to do. For me, for my friend, for my family, I have a lot of friends and family in the reserve, and that's why we started. And then from Shimon's unit, we understood there is a big shortage of medical equipment, not only in the East unit, also in the battalion of Shimon, and then from the battalion to brigade and divisions, and it was all over Israel, not just his unit. And this is when I think I met Batsheva Tzadok.
Yeah.
Perhaps next slide.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, so my name is Batsheva. I mean, I know most of you here. I'm an emergency medicine physician. I actually taught Shimon in the medical school. We're a physician-led initiative. And my name is Batsheva Tzadok. I'm an emergency physician. Deborah West, also the director of Asuta Ashdod, also an emergency physician. And what our goal here is really to empower our physicians, our paramedics, and our medics that are in the front lines. And I think we're a civilian initiative that caters exactly to that. Adi, can you move forward on the next slide? Okay. Now, go back one more. What really characterizes us, I want to just show you this. These are all volunteer emergency physicians that are part of our organization, where they all take part of it. And we really, this is something very unique to us because we can really understand their needs. You can go forward. What we really do is that we don't just give medical equipment. What we do is we look at the field, we go according to what their needs are. They fill out forms, these Google Docs, we talk to them, we figure out what level of operation they're in. We figure out, according to evidence-based medicine, according to what we know from tactical warfare, the kind of materials that they need, and that's how we work. That's how we do this. Next slide. Adi. Now, this is a slide that really tells our story. Our medical equipment goes directly to the hands of the doctors and the paramedics and the medics. These are people that show up to Yair's apartment after he talks to them on the telephone, after he talks to them on the phone, after he does all the intake. And these are them taking the stuff from his apartment in Petah Tikva right to the front. These people are on their way, many of them on the way to Gaza or Lebanon in these pictures. That's why their faces are blurred. We're not allowed to take pictures of soldiers. Okay, some of the equipment that we give them. So mobile ultrasound devices. Now, mobile ultrasound devices are really crucial when you're talking about tactical warfare and the medicine that you have to do in it. It can detect severe lung injury within seconds. It can detect internal bleeding, which can help us decide if you have a number of soldiers, which one needs to be taken out by helicopter, which one can be ground transit, and it can really tell us what is going to happen to the injured soldier in the future. Airway access equipment. Now, this is very, very, this is one of the major equipment that we really focus on because if somebody is in need of a definitive airway, that means they can't breathe and we have to stick a plastic tube down their throat. There's a few tools here that are very essential, especially if you're in a very difficult situation where someone's shooting at you or you're in the middle of the desert and you have a lot of sand in your face. So we have video laryngoscopes, which is really standard care. As an emergency physician, that's how I do all of my procedures, my airway procedures. And to think that someone in a much more difficult situation doesn't have the tools that I have is very frightening as a doctor to contemplate. Capnographs are something that it's a tool that we can know if we stick a tube in someone's throat, we know that we reach the lungs 100% if we have an equipment like this. And if we don't have it, we're in danger of causing brain damage because of a lack of oxygen. These things are just really crucial. And we were very, very happy that we were able to supply them to some of our troops. Ready heat blankets. Now, people, when they become injured, they can bleed out, they become very cold. And we know if someone gets cold after they sustain traumatic injury, there's a 50% chance of mortality, of increased mortality. So these ready heat blankets, especially when you think of the conditions they go on, like, you know, these like semi-ambulances in the wind and the wind of the helicopter when they pick them up. These people are very, very prone to being cold. So this is we got 608 ready heat blankets, which are these special thermal blankets, directly to the hands of the troops. Now, monitoring equipment, you know, I had like people call me and tell me that they were in a mass casualty and they didn't even have a way to know if they could measure the oxygen because their machines didn't work. So we are sure to give them high level monitors to check their oxygen levels. We also have digital blood pressure monitors to measure someone's blood pressure when you're jumping in like a hammer, which is like the kind of truck that a lot of the times have to transfer the injured soldiers. You can't even measure their blood pressure. So we got a special Army approved blood pressure, electronic blood pressure measurement, and they can just measure their blood pressure even when they're in transit. Okay. We can go to the next. Tourniquets. Now, tourniquets are one of the things that one of the equipments that really lowers mortality in warfare. We know that this is one of the major ways we can prevent death. What we don't have here is we also are giving junctional tourniquets, which is something the Army doesn't have, which causes 70% of preventable deaths in the battlefield, which can go on those places where your regular tourniquets can't go. And this is something that we were able to introduce and bring in to the people on the field. And we've been told that it's just an incredible, incredible tool for them. Next. Easy IOs. So when someone is bleeding heavily, profusely, their veins collapse and you can't give them blood products, which is one of the things that can really save them. So we have these special bone drills where they can actually get medication. One of Deborah's doctors called me and was like, before he went into Gaza, he was like, we have to get these guns. We don't have them. And a lot of the times I can't get a line in someone. We were able, with our generous donors from abroad, to supply 50 EZ-IO intraosseous guns, which is what you see in this picture. And what you see there is actually being used in the field. This is an original picture of ours, of one of our guns being used. And now I give the stage to my colleague, Dr. Deborah West.
Hi, so it's an honor to be here, and thank you to everybody who's joined in. I'm Deborah Gershoff-West. I'm a director of the emergency department here in Ashdod. But just like Yair and Batsheva, on the first week in October, we asked myself where we can join in the war effort. I actually ran the mass casualty event on October 7 here in Ashdod. We're a southern hospital, and saw firsthand basically what we're dealing with, which is basically something we have not experienced before in the history of the nation. And I felt helpless. I felt helpless because I realized that I'm an emergency medicine doctor, but I'm actually not where the action is. The action is on the front line. If we can go to the next slide, please, Adi. The action is on the front line, on the So basically, as I mentioned, this is what we realize is that we're not the front line. Emergency departments are normally the place where the most critically injured patients arrive. We're normally the ones who get to save lives. They come to us, their lives are in our hands. We hold them in our hands, which is the most precious thing you can hold in your hands, and we save them. But in this war, the statement of David Ben-Gurion in 1948, that the whole country is the front and all the nation are its army, has never been more true. We have 7 fronts, and the place to save lives is not here in the emergency department. I'm not relevant anymore. What's relevant is the people who are at the front line. Because when we talk about the golden hour, it's the golden hour until the patients, from the injury until they're in the operating room. And anything that delays them, any delay means that they don't actually get there. So the people that we need to empower, not the emergency medicine doctors in the center of the country, we need to empower every doctor, every medic, every paramedic in the field. So what we need to do is we need to meet the threat. The threat, as you can see, is all across the country. This was the picture from my phone when Iran attacked us. I can't even remember which night it was. I think it was on the 10th of October this year. And this is our response. Our response is to say, you're going to hit us all across the country. We're going to get all across the country. We are going to train every single person all across the country. Anybody who needs our help. It's critically important to bring the tools into their hands, but we also need to bring them the training. Now, I don't know how many of you understood the song at the beginning, but the song at the beginning of this project of meeting you basically says that the people in the front line are family medicine doctors, they're urologists, they're gynecologists, they are high-tech people who were paramedics 20 years ago, they're medics who are normally, they're lawyers who are trained as medics. They're basically not trained for the enormity of the event, and the event is enormous. There have been over 12,000 injured soldiers. The numbers rise. I think today we got to 795 dead. The numbers are enormous. The whole country is a front. So what we've decided to do, we said we're going to go to the front, anybody who calls us, and we're going to provide them with the training they need. So what have we done? We've gone to, we reached number 104 training session on Friday. We went in Majidul Shams doing a massive mass casualty event training for them. I don't know if you recall, but July 27th, 12 of their children were killed in a soccer field. We've gone around the country. We train just a bit slow, Adi, if you don't mind. We've gone around the country, and we go from the north to the south. We go under fire. We've frequently be training under fire. We come to an army base. We get in. We set up our equipment wherever. We start training. The missiles hit. We go underground, and we keep on training. We've trained casualty collection zones around the country. We go to every army base. We treat the people who are on the field. We treat the people who are in what's called the Palmar and the Palak, which are the field hospitals. We've gone to the hospitals up north, to Ziv and to Naharia. We've been there several times, training them in life-saving skills. What you can see in one of these pictures, actually is blurred, is the head of orthopedic surgery, a phenomenal guy. But what does he know about intubating a patient? In a mass casualty event, we don't need his orthopedic skills in casting. We need his skills in intubation. So we have to retrain people who have been professionally trained in another field just to deal with trauma. It's a completely different world. So we've gone up, we go back as well. We go back to wherever we get any requests. And then we've got all the first responder units, which I don't know if you're aware, but 600 first responder units. This is, sorry, a picture of the casualty collection zone we did in Kiryat Sefer. Kiryat Sefer is a community of 108,000 people, all ultra-Orthodox, surrounded by 5 Arab villages. They have one entrance-exit zone, which means if somebody comes and attacks them, if the terrorists come and attack them and they block the entrance or exits, they're on their own. 108,000 people, 8 doctors. What on earth are they going to do if they're hit? So we train them. We went and we trained their medics. We trained them. We helped them put together a casualty collection zone, and we trained them in how to deal with trauma. There's a picture of Tali Porat who appears here as well. Volunteers from Israel, volunteers from overseas, all of us specialists in our field. All of us emergency medicine physicians, traumatologists, tactical medicine experts. If we can move on. This is Majidul Shams. Majidul Shams, as I mentioned before, was a major event on July 27. They were hit and they were completely unprepared. We've been there 3 times. The first time we went and we did workshops with them, showing all of their teams, their rescue and teams, their Magen David Adom teams, how to deal with trauma in the field when all you've got is your pair of hands and the most basic equipment. We then went back again. We met with all of the leaders of the home front. of the ambulance services, of the search and rescue, the city council. We put together with them a project of how would they deal with patients if their roads are blocked off, if all of their entrance and exits are blocked off, or if they have a hit on so many sites that their 12 ambulances are basically already on their way to a hospital and don't come back again. Because if they take their patient to a hospital in Ziv, which is the closest one, they don't come back for 2 hours. So they've taken 12 patients, say 24 patients at the maximum capacity. After that, they're done. They're on their own. How do you train them up for that? So we met with them twice, and we did this massive mass casualty event on Friday. There were 12 of us there. We prepared with it for 2 weeks. We trained 150 people. In the pictures aren't out yet because they're just from Friday, in how to run a mass casualty event on multiple. We had an electrical pole falling down. We had wounded underneath buildings that had collapsed, and we basically trained them to know how to deal with it. The response that we got from them was, we feel like we've had this corrective experience. We feel like we can turn to our people. We can say, God forbid this happens again. We know what to do. We know how to do it, and we have the equipment to deal with it. I'll just move on to the next picture. So we've been going around the country. We have trained, as I said, over 3,000 people. We keep on going. We get requests every single day. Just today, I got another 3 requests from Army units. We often get requests, just one second, we often get requests from people who are going on tomorrow. So we just meet them. I've got somebody who came in and said, we're going on Wednesday. We'll find the time, we'll find the place, and we train them up. And the feedback we get from the field is, and to me it's devastating, but it's really heartwarming, is like, I was on there, I was treating a soldier, his life was in my hands, and the only thing that went through my head was the training that we got, and I just acted automatically, and I stopped the bleed, and I saved the life, and I prioritized, and I knew what to do, and I can sleep at night. I can sleep at night because I gave that soldier the best chance of surviving. We get the feedback the whole time. This is the team. The team is not me. It's not Batsheva. It's not Yair. You saw the list beforehand. It's well over 60 volunteers. People from Israel, people from Chutz La'aretz, people from overseas who come to Israel to volunteer. I can see some people here. I can see Sela and Medad and Tully, who just turn up. Who turn up and help. It's an evolving situation. We never do the same training session twice. We meet the needs. We ask them, what do they need? We assess that. We assess their experience. And we come to terms with whatever they need. It's a work in progress. You saw the train the trainer. Now what we've started doing is also training up paramedics and medics in the field so that they can continue training their teams. And we're starting up a new workshop, which we haven't even put together yet this week, of bringing all the advanced providers together and helping them in decision making. What do you do when you've got 6 wounded? Who gets on the helicopter first? How do you decide? Getting them all to bring their experience from the field, because unfortunately they're all way too experienced already, of dilemmas that they've had and decisions that they've had to make, and how to help them to come up with the right decision, or to feel that they know what to do. You have to remember, these are kids. These are kids. They're between the age of 18 and 28, and our soldiers' lives are in their hands. They're in their hands entirely. So we're going to do everything we can to give them the best chance of surviving and the best chance of succeeding.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, so what we want to just, I want to say that also with the golden hour, oh, am I muted? Sorry, I was muted, sorry. With the outbreak of Lebanon, and we started getting a lot more requests, also for equipment, also for hadrachot, for workshops. These are what right now what we're working on. 25 ultrasound, 25 monitors, 35 mobile ultrasounds, 50 video laryngoscopes, 70 capnographs. We were able to get about 20 this week. 80 EZIOs, 200 pulse oximeters, 380 combat gas, 100 Raptors, those are special scissors that cut the clothing, and 270 thigh packs. This is what people are asking for right now in the fields, and we know we're not reaching everyone, and we're not reaching everyone's requests. We need help to continue. We need you guys to join us. These are our kids out there. These are our people out there. And I would like to introduce Jamie. Jamie is a paramedic in active duty, and he will give you guys a little bit of his perspective. Thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
So, hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Jamie. 1 second. I think I was... Okay, fixed. And my face is blurry, but you can see my face now. So, well, anyways, I'm a military paramedic. I'm a fifth year medical student in Tel Aviv University, and I was trained as a military paramedic 8 years ago. And since then, I've served in a combat unit, and during my reserve duty, I've served in the unit which Deborah introduced earlier, which is called Palmar. And that unit is a regional medical unit, and it's placed along the Lebanese border. Basically, since the 7th of October, we got recruited like thousands others, and we were placed along the Lebanese border, the northern border of Israel. And my unit alone has about 10 ambulances with many doctors and paramedics. I'm personally a paramedic. There are 2 other paramedics with me. 3 gynecologists in my unit, which you can just imagine that it's not their daily practice to treat trauma patients along the border. There's 1 oncologist which joined us like a few months ago. It's also not his daily practice. And there's 1 anesthesiologist, which that gets a bit closer, which is good. And 2 other doctors, which are GPs. So we have about 10 ambulances, and we basically respond to any incident, any mass casualty event, any injury of a soldier at the front line. And that's what we've been doing since 7th of October. We've treated, only my unit alone has treated about around 200 soldiers in total. Out of them were 8 soldiers which died, and about 35 with severe injuries, like which were either evacuated by helicopter or we took them to Ziv, which is the nearest hospital, as was mentioned earlier. And I would like to share with you, just like there were many events, obviously, in the past. It's been more than a year right now. So I'd like to share with you one mass casualty event which we took part in, which you can actually see now on the screen. I obviously didn't take this picture. I was busy treating soldiers, so I didn't really have time to take a few pictures, but someone else did. And this is part of a mass casualty event which we were called. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We had another one which was very late at night, and you can just look at the conditions in front of you. You can see the field conditions, which are very far from being an ambulance or hospital. And as a helicopter arrives, everything just becomes super dusty, and everything goes flying everywhere. So it's very difficult to treat in these conditions, especially if that's not your daily practice. It makes things even more challenging. And in this incident, we had 24 injured in total, 3 of them killed, unfortunately, which arrived at this helicopter land site, which you can actually see here. And there were 3 helicopters in total, which we brought in. And just imagine now that I work in MDA, the Magen David Adom National Ambulance Service. So I'm a bit more familiar with ambulances than the others, but still this was very, very challenging. And this is about less than a kilometer from the border. So you can imagine that within a few minutes, Hezbollah already targets this land site and starts firing missiles towards it. So we have to evacuate very quickly from that place. So all of this brings a lot of stress, it brings a lot of challenge. And as a consequence, I think we need the best medical equipment to deal with these very abnormal situations, which people can't actually be trained to deal with. And so I was in this incident with one of the gynecologists, the oncologist, and another GP. We're 4 of us in this incident, trying to manage all of this. And the oncologist, which joined us recently, he's not that trained. I mean, we haven't really had the time to train him properly. We haven't had the equipment. We haven't had the right trained personnel to train them, basically, like Deborah introduced earlier. So this really brings a lot of challenges. And just to share with you another incident that we had, which was very unfortunate, of a soldier which was hit from a face-to-face battle within Lebanon, and he received he got shot in his neck, creating a very problematic maxillofacial, basically a face injury. And as a consequence, the doctor there had to manage his airway because it was obstructed with blood and with broken teeth. I'm not going to get into the graphics, of course, not trying to traumatize anyone, but it was a very difficult injury. And so he had to perform a surgical airway in the field. And just a few minutes later, we received this soldier, and the surgical airway was misplaced. It wasn't in the right position. Unfortunately, it entered just under the skin instead of the actual breathing tube, the trachea, which it should have been. And that soldier suffered basically brain damage as a consequence of having no oxygen. He hasn't been oxygenated for a few minutes. And when we received him, we couldn't verify the placement of his tube properly because we have 10 ambulances and only 3 of them have what's called a capnometry, which can actually verify the placement of this device. So it was a very, very challenging thing to do in these conditions. And unfortunately, later on in the hospital, he was pronounced dead. So it was a very unfortunate story that happened. But I think the take-home message from all of this, I can't summarize over a year of service along the border and all of our incidents, but I think the army has no choice but to recruit all medical personnel, all professionals from all fields. And these personnel are not trained because it's not their daily life, it's not their daily practice. And they need, because especially if they're not so trained, they need the best equipment to treat and to provide adequate care to save lives. And I think that's really the main goal of this of the reason why we're here, basically, because we really do need this help. We have to treat in crazy conditions, sometimes under fire, very frequently under fire, and we need your support. That's the reason, basically.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank
I
you,
think these
Jamie.
are like very hard stories to tell because we're used to showing how strong we are, and I think it's to show where our weaknesses are and where we need help. It takes a lot of bravery, and this is where you guys come in. We need your help.
I want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for the excellent equipment that you guys gave us. In the event of an injured soldier, this is life-saving equipment.
Thank you for the amazing support you give us in saving lives in the front battlefield over here in Gaza. These crucial equipment help us treat injured soldiers immediately in the most efficient way, saving lives every day.
We want to really thank you so much for all the donations you gave us. We've been using these ultrasounds and all the rest of the medical things to help us in the field.
So much for this donation of the helmet gauzes and the cat tourniquets. These 2 items help us enormously save lives in real time in the battlefield.
Thank you for allowing us save lives.
Thank you very much for the equipment we got from you, and it'll be very helpful helping us saving lives.
The equipment goes right to the field and makes a difference. Thank you very much. I'm Israel Chai.
So you guys hear it firsthand, and we're available.
I want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts.
We're doctors. We're not like, we try to be like high tech and put movies on and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're physicians, and we're just telling you from, the real story. So if you guys have any questions, we're more than happy to answer.
Batsheva, I do.
Okay. Yes, Alan. Hi.
Hi, I'm
Alan was a
Alan Pyra.
volunteer with us.
Yeah, from San Francisco. First off, I'm more than happy and enthusiastic to help. But in the U.S., in order to get people to donate, if I'm out there as an ambassador, we have to be a 501c3. People are not going to donate if you don't create.
We are. We're a 501c3. Oh, yeah, we are. We learned that very
Excellent.
early, Alan.
Okay, good. Second, is there a PowerPoint slideshow for us to be able to go out to audiences?
think
Do
I
you have
can,
something for us?
I will give you one. I have, absolutely.
Okay, third, is there a donation link that we can then give the people so that they can give the money directly instead of funneling it through us?
Yeah, sure. We have a link. That's not a problem.
Okay, super. Those were my questions.
Amazing. Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I would like to invite Ayala. Ayala, are you here?
Hello.
Hi.
everyone.
So Ayala is from JGIV, and she will explain and give us more information about the campaign. And later we will have time to answer questions.
Yeah. Great. Whoops. Okay. Wait a second. Okay. You guys see now the presentation, right? Great. I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Okay. So from the top, I'm Ayala. I work at JGIV Pro Department alongside with Atal, who is also here tonight. And I'm very happy to be here. Happy to see you all and that you can make it. So basically what we're going to do now is going to walk you through a little bit about JGIV and what we do, but mainly the focus is on what it means to be an ambassador, how it's going to work, and so on. So if you guys have any questions while I talk, I'll try to make it as clear as I can. But if you have any questions, then we'll have time at the end for everything, so don't worry about it. Okay, so basically JGIV is a social nonprofit. We aim to strengthen and expand the giving culture in Israel and to Israel. So that's what we're going to do here tonight. We do it in various ways, but tonight is going to be about the charities and what it means to have a crowdfunding campaign with us. So the JGIV Pro Department over the year has managed over 450 campaigns and raised over 400 million shekels. But most importantly, we had 75,000 ambassadors, just like you guys sitting here tonight. So you're in very good hands. We're very experienced in that, but also know that you're a part of something that is big and exciting that is happening. So peer-to-peer crowdfunding. In the most simple way, we believe that people donate to people. We believe that people donate to a human cause. They don't donate to the equipment that you guys the charity is giving to the soldiers. They're giving the money to help save lives with this equipment. That's the human cause we're aiming at. So it's saving lives. That's the story we're going to tell. And that's the narrative we believe in that is working the best in crowdfunding for charities. So the donation process in our website, we have a platform that through this platform, donors can donate. So about the question before about the link to donate, you will all get a link in a few minutes through your email. With the link is set to directly to your personal page. So it's very easy. It's nothing to be, you don't have to go and search for it and find it. You'll get it through your email and you can use it to reach out. So the donation process itself, the donation process itself looks like this. So people go into the link that you guys will get on this message. It's going to look like this. And we'll also have sent to you through this chat. Atal, if you can send the message in the chat. We've prepared a message for you that you can use to send to the people you know. The message is meant, you can read it here, but you will also get it in a few minutes. So I think it will be easier. It's meant to tell the story of the campaign in the clearest way we could think of. You can use it, you can choose not to, it's not mandatory.
Wait, I just want to cut you off for 1 second. A lot of these people are like physicians and they'll be reaching out, and if you guys don't have to use any kind of form, and you can really reach out, like as Alan wanted to have a presentation sent to him.
Sure.
So I mean,
I'm sorry going to say that it's a suggestion from us. Maybe it can make it easier, but if it doesn't, then it's totally not mandatory to use it. It's just a suggestion that you guys can use if you want. So once people get to the website, this is what it's going to look like. So we have a few photos and videos of the campaign. the name of the ambassador and the name of the campaign, and the goal that you guys set up for yourself. They can also go back to the main event. It's all connected through the platform. Once they click donate, oops, sorry. Okay, going back. If you have donors that are finding it hard to change the language, so just so you guys also know, if you go through your mobile, you have 3 lines over here. You click it, you click the English and ILS, and then you have all the options. Just make sure to click done, and that's it. It's the same on desktop. It just looks like this instead. This is just for you guys to be able to explain donors if they reach out about the platform. So it's very, very easy. Okay, so once you click donate, this is the window you're gonna get. In this window, you can also change the currency. You can make it a recurring donation. You can choose a donation amount that we've prepared, but they can also donate freely, how much they want. We also have an option.
Is it possible to make it a little bigger? Difficult to see.
Let me see, not sure. I don't think I can make it from my computer. Doesn't make it bigger for you, right? No. Not really sure if I can make it bigger. I'm sorry, but we can send the presentation and you can have it to look over after. Okay. So maybe I'll go slower also. That will be easier. They also have an option to write a dedication, and they can make the donation anonymous. This is very important for some donors to be able to hide either the donation amount or their name from the campaign. So just so you know that this is also an option. Then they will have to fill out the personal details and just carry on. In this page, they will have a few payment method options. So they can either do credit card, which means like typing in the credit card or using Apple Pay. And they can also do it via wire transfer or like a check. We have various options. So I think a check maybe is not relevant in this case, but a wire transfer may sometimes is. So they can switch here and decide what they how they want to make the donation. That's it. Once they click finish, they should have this screen. So this is like the most important part, is to make sure that you get the red heart at the end. If they go out of the website or refresh it or something like that and don't get the heart, it means they didn't make a donation. So if a donor approaches you and asks, I made a donation, I can't see it, why? Then just make sure they got the red heart. If they didn't, it means they didn't donate. It's not a problem. They just have to do it again and make sure to get the red heart at the end.
Can they use Venmo or Zelle?
It's not Venmo. We have just the Apple Pay, if not credit card.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. After you complete the donation, you will immediately get a receipt via your email. The receipt is tax credited, and you can also, like, you have the receipt number and name. Basically, that's it. It's not a special receipt or anything. An invoice, I mean. Okay. Every time a donation is made to your personal page, you will get informed via your email. You will also have an option to say thank you to the donor if they chose to share their details, which is recommended. I think it's nice to get a thank you after somebody has joined the cause. Okay, so I know sometimes, or we know from our experience, that sometimes being an ambassador can be a little bit concerning. And we have a few like very miss the word in English, but it's very popular questions about being an ambassador. So we're going to walk through a couple of them and see how we can break it up. So some of you have set up for themselves a personal goal. Some of you haven't, but sometimes it could be a little bit scary and start thinking like, how I'm going to get to this goal. It's so high. It's a few thousand shekels or dollars. So first of all, we want to say, we are all here for an important reason, and the reason that we believe in. At the end of the day, we just have to say it. And you say it to people, you say them why it's important. We're saving lives. I think it's something that people can relate to very easily. And it works. You start out, you don't really believe in it. And then after a couple of donors pitch in, you see that it really works, and you just have to say what you already believe in. especially now after the war, I think many ambassadors thinks that there are so many charities out there looking for donations, and why would they give especially to us? So first thing first, there is a significantly high rates of donations since the beginning of the war in Israel. So people donate all the time. They look for things to donate to. At the end of the day, it's convincing them to donating to our cause and not to a different cause that they would donate to. So believe in it, it's really happening. The numbers are showing that people are still very interested in making donation, and they're looking for ways to help the effort. And I think we just have to tell our story in a very, very, sincere and clear way. And they would want to donate to us because it's such an important cause that you can't really have arguments with. Okay, about getting a no as an answer. So I want to say every no brings us closer to yes. It sounds like a cliche, but it's true. We have to start somewhere. So we recommend starting out with your family and friends, people that you know or probably know that will say yes, that will help you build your confidence in reaching out to people. Then move on to the bigger list of people you want to reach out to and not so sure if they're going to say yes or no, but it won't be too much exciting because you'll know some say yes, some say no, and it's totally fine. It's okay. Another thing I want to say about it is that taking the first step can be hard. So we started out by putting the first donation for each and every one of you on your personal page. So as you go in for the very first time, there will already be money there, and it will look like the campaign is running and going, which will also motivate people to join in. Okay, so reaching out to people can feel a little bit like putting yourself out there. Maybe making you think, what will they think of me after the campaign, after asking them to donate to something. So I want to say about that I think most people think of ambassadors in a really good way. It's something that is hard not to appreciate. Just being a part of something bigger, trying to make a social impact, especially in this field, especially as you all are physicians and working in this area of work. So I think people around you will just think, wow, they're not only physicians, they're also helping out NGOs and taking this extra something on themselves. And I think it's quite impressive and will leave a good impression. A word about personal goals. So I know some of you chose in this point not to set up a personal goal. I want to say just one thing about it. The personal goal is both for us, for you as an ambassador, but also for the donor. For you, because it's motivating. It's motivating to set a specific goal, something that we work towards, that we aim at. It's designed to make us work harder towards something. And for the donor to come in and feel like they're helping you in this process, helping you reach this goal, and not just helping this general thing, but they can actually see the process as it moves along. I think it's very, very important to set up this atmosphere when people go into your campaign page. They see that they are part of something bigger. It's not just making a donation. It's, there is something that we aim at as a group of people that are donating to this campaign. Oops. Okay. So what's going to happen now? First of all, select your personal goal. Second of all, make sure that you see your link, and if not, tell us and we'll make sure to send it to you again via your email. Make a list of people that you're planning to reach out to. Again, start with your family, start with your friends, then move along to a bigger group of people. Once you do that, if you don't want to use the suggestion of the message we sent you, which is, again, totally okay, it happens a lot, you can also just make ahead of time a message that you're going to send. Instead of every time trying to think about it again and feeling a little bit uneasy with that, make it as easy as possible. Set up your message, set up your list of people, and just get to work. One day, one person at a time, until we get to the goal of the campaign. Okay. So what's a donation call look like? Or, it doesn't have to be a call. You can also communicate in any way you want. But we suggest starting out with the small talk, where it's comfortable, your comfort area. Start sharing about the campaign as your personal experience. I'm doing this campaign now, I'm an ambassador, what it feels like. Share it with them, make them feel part of it. Then at the end, mention that they can be a part of it, that you're actually looking for donations, and why don't they join in, or just at least go into the link and see what it's about. We have so much content there. We have the campaign story, we have the videos, we have the photos. Let them take a look at it and make the decision that they want. Of course, we recommend sharing the campaign on social media. It always helps. And just a few small reminders before we're done. So donation made through JGIV, as mentioned before, are eligible for tax credit in the US. It depends on the currency. So if people donate in shekels, it will be tax credited in Israel. And if US dollars, then in the US. The receipt is adapted to each country. You can also make a recurring donation, as mentioned, and you can also donate via wire transfer. For anything that comes up, feel free to reach the campaign team and we'll take care of it. And have good luck. Any questions?
Thank you, Ayala.
There are quite a few questions on the chat site.
Okay. Should I write my question or?
No, just say it.
Okay, so I was thinking, and I think maybe people might ask this question as well, potential donors. How is it that the IDF doesn't have all these? Why does this have to come from private donations?
Okay, that's a very good question.
I get it, but like what is the?
Yeah, okay, so I'll it's this war has really hit us with huge enormity. I mean, the amount that it's costing us daily, Deborah told me that it's like billions of dollars. How much, Deborah?
1 billion shekel a day.
Okay, now
bombs,
I think
everything's costing a fortune.
Yeah, it's just astronomical. So what our attitude is not let's try to figure out why this isn't happening the way we think it should happen, but let us join them and let us bolster them. And I think that the answer is that we are supplying it directly to the people that need it. So there's no question as to if it's the right equipment, if it's there's no question as to it being used. It's being used. Unfortunately, that's the situation right now.
It's the same with the training. It's not like they're not training their soldiers.
Yeah.
Of course they're training their teams, but there's a limit to how much the army can do. So if their teams are on service for 12 months and they can train them once every 2 months, well, we step in and we just bolster their training, and we're adding to the effort. And there's just a limit to what the Israeli army and the Israeli people can actually do. This war is much bigger than all of us.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good way to put it. Thank you.
There's a lot of questions on the chat site.
Yeah, so if people can just speak up, really, we're more than happy to answer anything.